We are at the very end of February, which is crazy to me. I feel like this month went by super fast and dragged all at once. Before I start this reading wrap up, I do just want to say I apologize in advance for my voice. It sounds disgusting because I am getting over a nasty virus right now, and for some reason my voice has decided to go. Sorry for that. But I can't wait any longer. I really want to share what I read in February because I had an amazing month of reading. Even though I didn't read as much as I hoped I would, the quality of the books were definitely top tier, and I really enjoyed myself when I had opportunity to read. I read a few different genres and none of them disappointed. So to start off the month of February, I picked up The Simple Wild by K.A. Tucker. I have never ever heard of anyone else talk about this book, but it deserves to be talked about. It was one of the best romances I have ever read. It's set in Alaska, which is already up my alley. It's filled with nature and picturesque scenes and just people living off the land and stuff like that, and I eat stuff like that right up. But the main character is also from Toronto, which I love. It's great to have Canadian representation sometimes in books. I don't get to read stuff like that very often. But I also have to say, aside from all of that, the way this was written was very refreshing. It not only focused on the relationship between the main character and the love interest, but it also focused on her other relationships in her life, and those evolved with her throughout the story. Loved it. I cannot express how much I love this book enough. So I started off my February with an instant 5-star read. It was so freaking good, and this book deserves all the hype it can get and more. If it sounds at all like it could be interesting to you, please pick it up because it's so good. I also just want to add too, this is not a spoiler at all, but I myself get really frustrated with romances when the main character and the love interest have some sort of conflict and they don't communicate about it whatsoever. They just part ways and call it a day. And this book does not contain that. There is actually healthy communication in it, which is so nice for a change. Because very rarely do I find romances end up going in that direction. So loved this one. Next, I read the arc for It Could Have Been Her by Lisa Jewell. I actually read this in a day. I challenged myself to swap the hours I would potentially work in a day with reading for that amount of time, and I really enjoyed it. I'm glad that I chose this book for that challenge because it was definitely one that needed to be read quickly. There were so many different characters in it, lots of point of views. I feel like had I not read it within the span of a day, I would probably have forgotten who certain people were because I was already forgetting as the story kind of progressed just because there were so many people. So that's like my biggest complaint about this book, is there might be just too many, I don't want to say too many characters. I feel like the number of characters is fine, but the number of point of views was a bit excessive, and I feel like it kind of pulled me out of the story quite a few times. So that could have been toned down just a little, but other than that, it was really exciting to read it. The plot was crazy, as Lisa Jewell books go. The twists were twisty, obviously, and it was just an overall fun time for like a mystery thriller sort of situation. I don't want to get too into it because I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but if you're into Lisa Jewell at all, this one will not disappoint. It was a lot of fun to read, and I ended up rating it 4 stars. Like I said, the only reason why I wasn't 5 stars was just because of the ridiculous amount of point of views. Next, I listened to the memoir Out of the Corner by Jennifer Grey. This one I borrowed from the Libby app, and it was a lot of fun. Jennifer Grey is a very funny person, and she's also very real. It started off with her talking about her nose job and how people thought she destroyed her face intentionally, basically making her nose super small, and how nose jobs and plastic surgery and beauty enhancements are just so normalized in Hollywood. It's almost a necessity to get far in your career. So it was kind of like jarring to just start off the book just diving right into it. She left nothing out, and it slowly progressed from her adolescence, starting to get into movies and cinema, to obviously her huge break with Dirty Dancing. She talked a lot about that and Patrick Swayze, and then moments in her career after that. Obviously, though, that is like the big moment that everybody wants to read about, and she did not disappoint in that front. This book was very well written, and I loved as well that the audiobook was narrated by her. It was so much fun to listen to her stories coming from her herself. So once again, I don't write memoirs, but I highly recommend this one if you like Jennifer Grey or Dirty Dancing or anything else that she's been in. I don't know that I've knowingly seen anything else with her in it, but I have seen Dirty Dancing quite a few times, so I was very excited for this one, and it did not disappoint destroy me at all. Then I read this very unique copy of Pride and Prejudice. I was just drawn to this cover. I can't even remember when I bought it, but because it reminds me of The Handmaid's Tale. And if you've ever read Pride and Prejudice, you'd know that it really has nothing to do with Handmaid's Tale. It's not even apples to oranges, it's like apples to broccoli, like comparison. But the cover is cool nonetheless, so I ended up buying it when I saw it just because it's so strange. But the cover itself is not what matters in this situation, it is the book. This was a reread for me. I love Pride and Prejudice. It is one of my favorite books, if not my absolute favorite book of all time. And once again, 5 stars. I love this world and the characters so much. I could ramble on about this book for literal hours. I'm not going to do that because I think I would be completely hoarse afterwards, but it was just great to revisit these characters and this world, and I never get tired of it. It's one of those books where I could finish it and then instantly just open it back up and start rereading it again. I love it that much. I know not everybody is into classics, and if it's not your cup of tea, that is 100% fine. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion, obviously. But if you do like classics, or maybe you're not sure and you want to kind of dip your toes in, that could be a good one to start with. As long as you kind of like romance and a little bit of drama here and there, I think it would be a great one to kind of try out. And then the last thing I read in February that I actually finished today, it is currently February 28th as I'm filming this, and I just finished this book about like a half an hour to an hour ago. But anyway, is Wild at Heart, which is the sequel to The Simple Wild. I was very nervous about the sequel going into it. I had very high expectations because the first one was so freaking good. And can I just say that this is exactly what a sequel should be. It did not try to go off and make itself more spectacular than the first one. It wasn't more high stakes or ridiculous. There wasn't a stupid third act conflict that made me want to throw the book across the room. I was getting scared about halfway through that there was going to be, but thankfully it didn't get ridiculous or anything like that. It just simply felt like the continuation that was needed after the first one ended. I definitely felt like there should have been more to the story when the first one ended, and this one picked up perfectly where that one left off. There's also new characters introduced into it, but they're introduced very organically and naturally, and it feels right. It doesn't feel like it's just happening because we need something new and fresh for the sequel. There are also some returning characters, and the original relationships from the first book continue to evolve as the main character evolves. Love that so much. Very rarely do you find a romance novel that is this realistic, where it's not just focused on 2 people, it's focused on 2 people and the lives surrounding them and what they want as individuals, but also what the people around them want and what they want for each other. I don't want to get into it too much because I don't want to spoil anything for anyone, but this was absolutely 5 stars. And once again, I cannot sing this series enough praises. Oh my goodness. I can't believe that I had never really heard of this before. I bought the first one on a whim, and I'm so glad that I did. Like I said before, one of the best romance series I've ever read in my entire life. Please read this if it sounds interesting to you at all. It has very high reviews too, so I'm not the only one who really loved it. But that is it. That is what I read in February. Like I said, I really had a great time reading whenever I actually was able to read. 3 5-star books, a 4-star read, and then also a memoir that I absolutely devoured and loved. It can't get much better than that. And with all of that being said, I'm really hoping that March is going to be just as amazing. I have been picking the greatest reads for myself lately, and I'm so happy about it. So far, 2026 has been a good year for reading for me. But with all of that, I'm gonna leave this one here. My voice is getting very hoarse and it's not very comfortable to talk right now. With that, I hope you have a great rest of your week and happy reading.